All right, today we're going to talk about how to properly demolition a house. I'm just going to go through all these tools and tell you the process that we use in order to get all of the muck and the junk out of there. One of the things that's important about the process is that we want to make sure that the way that you do the demo doesn't end up costing the homeowner more money. If you do this properly, then a contractor will come in and the site will be cleared properly and everything cut right and just ready for somebody to come in and put it back together. So I want to tell you first that there's 3 rules of demolition. You want to deal with the junk one time. If you're taking drywall off of the wall and you know that it's going to the pile out in the street in the front of the house, hand it to somebody, take it all the way to the street. If you're the one running around with a pry bar pulling nails out of the studs everywhere, then stick with that job if you can. Find a job and stick with the job. So the third rule of construction is that if you have somebody on your team that is a contractor, that is a skilled laborer, that understands about it, what you need to do is you need to do your best to be the leader if you're the guy that understands how to do this. Resist the temptation to do all the work yourself. Do everything you can to be a teacher and a leader through that process. If you have power in the house, then what we'd like for you to do is to go to the breaker box and turn off the outlets to the downstairs. So this is going to be our 12-step process of how to get all the muck and all the junk out of the house, and we'll try to go through it as quickly as we can, okay? Step number 1 is get everything out of the house. Drywall is powder when you cut it. Just keep that in mind. So you cut into it at all, and everything else is going to get the powder on it. So what we want you to do is to protect the homeowner's belongings first. Tape off the areas of the house that are not going to be have any construction in them so that you can protect all of that other stuff. Okay, the next step is the flooring. What you got to get up is like laminate flooring, carpet. When you're pulling up carpet, you also have to get the tack strips up and out too, because they're going to lose their integrity. And I find too that it's a really great solution to have a pry bar and a hammer in your hand so that you can either get into it this way or you can get into it that way to pry it up. Now, if you have a house that's like in the Heights with pier and beam or something like that, and you've got hardwood floors, real hardwood floors, then let's have a professional look at it and tell you if it needs to be removed or not, because maybe not. Maybe it'll dry out and it'll be just fine. Step 3 is what we want to do is figure out exactly where you need to cut that drywall in the house. You really want 24 inches taken up if you're taking anything up, because the drywall guys that come in, they work really hard and fast. It's quick for them to just snap a board in half and put 24 inches up at the bottom. You know, you want to get about 10 inches above the place where it got wet. If you've got a foot of water, you need to cut 24 inches. You may do 48 inches too, that's fine. Measure from the slab up to the wall, mark with a pencil on the drywall where 24 inches is on one side of the room. You go to the other side of the room, mark 24 inches, and then what we want you to do is to use a chalk line to snap a line at 24 inches all the way across. Okay, step number 4 is going to be where we go ahead and start taking out the drywall. You don't want to penetrate the wall any deeper than 5/8 of an inch. You've got hot Romex power in there, you've got low voltage wiring, you've got plumbing, all kinds of stuff is in that wall. You have no idea what's there. So do not penetrate the wall more than 5/8 of an inch. After you go around with a circular saw and cut your line, you're going to get to the corners where the circular saw won't go. That's where something like this is a battery operated multi-tool, and this is a fantastic solution for getting into those corners where you can't get the circular saw. That is the best way to do it. If you don't have those tools, then you're going to be stuck with something like this, and that's okay. At least we're getting something done. This is a drywall saw, and so what you want to do with this is just make sure that you don't take this drywall saw into the wall. After you're finished going through your chalk line with the circular saw, then, and it's only 5/8 inch deep, you want to go through it with a utility knife to cut the paper off of the back of the drywall all the way through. Step 5 is going to be to remove the door trim and baseboards and anything that's in the way of the drywall. There are a couple of different kinds of pry bars. What I like to do is hammer it in behind the trim of the door and then work this way. Now you want to start at the end of it, at the very bottom, and then work your way up, because you can save that trim piece if you do that properly. If it's really cheap trim, it's fine to throw that away too. If it's got water damage on it, then pitch it anyway. Okay, this is step 6, and this is on removing the drywall. Now, this is a great solution for that, to get into it if if it's a fresh piece and you don't have any way to get a hand in it. You could just knock a hole, reach in and try to pull it free. But what your goal is to remove the drywall in large chunks every time that you can. It's a lot less effort. The bigger the chunks are for demolition and debris removal and all that stuff, you can get it out in large chunks, then do it. Step number 7, if you haven't already gotten into this process, is to get all of the baseboards free everywhere. Again, when we were trying to do this already and the drywall was wet and mushy, it was really hard to have something to pry against. So we found that pulling the drywall out first was better. Then pull the baseboard out after that, because then you can pry up against the studs that are on the wall, and you've got some leverage there. Step number 8 is going to be to remove the screws and nails that are in the studs. It's not safe to have them there, and it makes it less expensive when the contractor comes in to bid the job to put the stuff back in. Step number 9 is to deal with the insulation. Now, if I would just go to where it's wet, maybe an inch or 2, 3 inches above where it's wet, and you for sure don't want to rip it out behind the drywall that's existing, that's still intact above there. Do not remove that. There's no reason to, and if somebody's trying to put insulation back and shoving it up in there, who knows if they're going to get it done evenly. Take that insulation and roll it up, and then shove it down into the trash bag. Step number 10 is something that may have already started at the beginning, but it's to sweep out all of the debris in the house. Step number 11 is to deal with mold. Please do not spray bleach without having gloves on like this. The other thing that's very helpful is to have a respirator mask when you're spraying that bleach. What I'm seeing online is about a 1-to-10 ratio. This is a great option here where you can buy these empty bottles at Home Depot, and then you can get yourself some bleach, and you can mix a 1-to-10 ratio. Maybe about a half a cup to a bottle or something like that is fine. What we want you to do is to spray all the areas that got wet and really drench them with the solution as much as you can. Step 12 is to get the house dry. The problem is humidity. So if you can get yourself a dehumidifier and set it up in the room and get all of that moisture out of the air, it's going to help. And I would say too, if you can get the air conditioning running again, then that would be brilliant. That's the whole process. Good luck out there, and please be safe.